Hello, we ghosties. I'm Chance Lee.
And I'm Amanda McRobbie.
And this is That's So Gothic, a movie podcast about girls, guys, and haunted houses. Pack your bags, kids. We're going to Grandma's house. It's time for M. Night Shyamalan's The Visit.
Every day it's a getting close.
Are you holding my camera properly? Swerve, girl.
Stop, both of you!
Yours will surely come.
Hi, Mom. My parents asked if their grandchildren could visit them for a week.
Here we are. This is where our mom grew up. I've wanted to spend time with you for so long.
Miss you guys.
Mom, we're having a great time.
I have not seen your Nana this happy in years. Bedtime here is 9:30. It's probably best you two shouldn't come out of your room after that. See you in the morning.
9:30.
9:30.
What is that? It's 10:47.
We think there's someone outside the door.
What the hell was that?
I think Nana's not feeling well.
Grandmother is fine. It's like somebody talking in their sleep.
What's he doing? They're weird during the day,
I was just cleaning it.
and even weirder at night.
Mom, there's something wrong with Nana and Papa.
They're just old. Bear with it for a couple of days.
Nana, you okay? They're hiding something.
It's just the end of your trip.
I'm sad it's all over. I'm gonna get you.
Let's make it a perfect night.
What is that? Mom, you need to come right now.
Would you mind getting inside the oven to clean it?
Stop! Nana, stop!
Released in 2015, The Visit was written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan. It stars Olivia DeJonge as Becca, Ed Oxenbould as her rapping brother Tyler, Deanna Dunagan as Nana, and Peter McRobbie as Pop Pop. That's
Pop Pop.
how they're credited. There are special appearances by Kathryn Hahn as the mom, and Broadway star Celia Keenan-Bolger as Stacy.
Really?
Yes.
I
I don't know
could
why
see
she's in this movie.
Yeah. I don't know that she adds her Broadway pizzazz to it, but
I've seen very few Broadway shows,
yeah.
and one of them I really enjoyed was when Zachary Quinto did The Glass Menagerie,
Oh.
and Celia Keenan-Bolger as Stacy played his sister, Laura.
Oh, get
And
out.
She was very good.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, she'll be in this. We'll get to her. She'll be in this for like, I don't know, 45 seconds. I
Yeah.
don't know what
Not
she's in
a,
it.
yeah.
Yes. This is the story of a visit to Grandma and Grandpa's house going horribly, horribly wrong.
Mhm.
The Visit has a 68% critical tomato and a 51% audience tomato.
Wow.
Was not expecting that.
Yeah, very split.
Very split. Well, no, Amanda, split was later. Split was later. And this, this honestly though, 68%, 51%, pretty good for an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Yeah.
But Sheila O'Malley for RogerEbert.com gave it 3.5 stars out of 4.
Really?
She loved it. She says that the film is ridiculous on so many levels. The story playing out like the most monstrous version of Hansel and Gretel imaginable. And in that context, ridiculous is the highest possible praise. Yeah. So there's also a mention, I think this is from the same article that she leads off with, saying that M. Night Shyamalan had his heyday 20 years prior to this movie with The Sixth Sense.
Okay.
And she writes, quote, "Something went awry." So she writes about, just how people don't really like him. But now she says he's back with The Visit. And she
Whoa.
concludes that with all its terror, The Visit is an extremely funny film.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. So let's talk about the trajectory of M. Night Shyamalan. So I'll go through his list of films up to this point.
Right.
The Sixth Sense.
Was that his first
Unbreakable.
film?
That was his first. Well,
I'm sorry. I
So
didn't mean
it was
to-
his first breakthrough movie. He directed some movie, I think, with like a kid and Rosie O'Donnell as a nun,
Oh,
but no one talks about that one.
yeah. I was just very surprised. I didn't realize that was like his first movie.
It was definitely his big breakthrough and his
Yeah.
first like creepy movie when he got known for creepy movies.
Okay.
But when Old came out
Mhm.
and there was a lot of M. Night Shyamalan talk,
Yeah.
I was looking up that Rosie O'Donnell as a nun movie. I think I saw that when I was a kid. I need to watch it and see if it dredges up any
I feel like I
memories.
can picture Rosie O'Donnell in, the nun outfit. So maybe I've seen it.
Yeah, or it was just a very common poster. But,
Yeah.
I mean, that age, I would have seen anything with Rosie O'Donnell in it. She was just a
She
big
was
draw.
like top of your list. Yeah.
Yeah, Rosie O'Donnell, Whoopi Goldberg,
Yeah.
and Jack A. Harry from 227. Those were like my top three, my top three box office draws.
Those were the box office draws. Yeah.
Yeah. So if we go by Rotten Tomatoes, The Sixth Sense is at the top.
Yeah.
And then each subsequent movie I'm going to name, we're going to slide down a notch.
Really?
So, yes. So Unbreakable,
Mhm.
which I find unwatchable. Have you seen Unbreakable?
I actually haven't, and I can talk about that later because I have not seen Unbreakable, but I read deeply into it before I saw Glass, because I saw Glass for some reason without watching Unbreakable.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to Glass in a bit. That's one of
Yeah.
the recent that came after. That was his movie a couple after
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah.
So then Signs,
Mhm.
which I hated,
Oh.
and a lot of these I saw in the theater.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a soft spot for Signs, but digress.
Yeah, The Village.
I love it.
I really like The Village.
Yep. It's kind of stupid and I love it.
Yes. So next is Lady in the Water.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
I've never seen it.
I don't think I've ever seen it. She was like in a pool, wasn't she?
Bryce Dallas Howard in a pool. And
Oh my God, it's Bryce Dallas Howard?
yeah, she's
Oh.
the lady.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Then The Happening.
Oh, with Marky Mark.
Marky Mark, Zoe
What?
Deschanel.
No, I would not do that.
That movie, I watched that movie for the first time last year, and it
Yeah.
sent me into a tailspin. Like I was shook. Like
Yeah.
just that it got made.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Someone
it's so
let it
bad.
someone released it like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're not even at the bottom of the barrel
No,
yet.
no.
So down at the bottom, we have a
Mhm.
duo of The Last Airbender, which was the
Oof.
live action Nickelodeon
Yeah.
Avatar movie that I've never seen the cartoon. I've never seen this movie.
Same.
It has like a 4% Rotten Tomato.
Oof. Wow.
Really bad. And then After Earth, which was kind of like a Will Jaden Smith.
Yes.
It may be Scientology sci-fi. I don't know.
Yeah. I've never seen it, but I have watched a YouTube video on it for sure. Because all I remember is Jaden Smith is really bad at crying.
Oh no.
He's really bad. Very bad.
And
Yeah.
M. Night Shyamalan cannot direct people to have emotions.
No, apparently not.
Not one of his strengths.
Interesting.
In between those two shit piles is
Mhm.
a movie that he wrote but did not direct called Devil.
Oh.
Where there's like 6 people in an elevator and one of them is the devil.
Ooh.
That's what I said. And I have 2 memories of this movie. One is watching a movie, like a different movie. I think it was something random, like Salt with Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
And before the movie was the trailer for Devil.
Mhm.
And when it said written by M. Night Shyamalan, the whole theater went, oh.
Like they were probably hooked until that moment.
It's such a good trailer. And then you see that and you're like, fuck.
Yeah. No.
And I've never had that happen in any other movie where people have just like audibly groaned at someone's name.
Yeah.
So this is when his reputation was in the toilet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I watched Devil a couple years ago, and it's not good. It's not bad, but it does have one of the most ridiculous monologues in a movie.
Really?
That they take absolutely seriously. Where this guy starts raving about how, sometimes like your child falls and they miss hitting their head on the corner of the table by like an inch. All right. And then sometimes you have a sandwich and it's got jelly on it. So your toast has jelly on it and it falls jelly side down. And that means that the devil is nearby. And I can't even recreate it, but I was laughing so hard at this. I rewound it and listened to it again immediately.
Like, how many times have you seen a child fall and barely miss the edge of the table with their head? Like, why is it so rare that they hit it?
Get to your point.
When he's near, everything goes wrong. Toast falls jelly side down, children hit tables, and people get hurt.
Hey, the police do not want to hear this stuff from yours, okay? So just stop now.
Sometimes he takes human form and torments the damned on earth before stealing them away. Where I come from, we call it the devil's meeting.
You should definitely like audition for things, memorize that monologue and use that for auditions.
I think I will.
Yeah.
Just for fun. Yeah. See how people react.
Absolutely.
So Devil, definitely worth checking out.
Okay.
But then, so after that, he starts on the come up a little bit with The Visit.
Yep.
And then Split with your cousin James McAvoy.
Of course, yeah.
But then he had a little dip with Glass. People didn't really like Glass. I didn't like Glass.
I hated it so much.
Yeah. It's pretty bad. It had a good trailer. It had Sarah Paulson in the trailer.
That's right. She was good in it.
Yeah, that made me want to see it. It was in my heyday of like AMC Movie Pass or whatever.
Yes.
But
I think I did the same thing.
Yeah. And like I had seen Unbreakable once in the theater in like 2000, 2001. Absolutely hated it. So I don't know what I was expecting. But it was bad. And then Old.
Which I haven't seen.
There's something wrong with this beach. Yeah, Old is worth watching. Not good, but worth watching because it's a trip. So that's the whole M. Night Shyamalan rundown.
Yeah.
So The Visit critically is kind of like smack dab in the middle of all these movies. Upper tier.
Yeah.
But not ones that people really like. But I would say maybe my favorite of his movies. I've seen surprisingly many of these.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would have to rewatch The Village. And I think, we kind of have a little bit of a different opinion, and we'll get into it more later on The Visit, because I really liked it the first time I watched it. I liked it a lot less the second time I watched it. So maybe that's just like an M. Night Shyamalan thing, though. I don't know. So maybe I'll rewatch The Village and hate it, Who knows?
Yeah. He doesn't seem to hold up on repeat viewings. I don't understand the people who've seen The Sixth Sense a lot. It's like you see it once and you get the twist and then you see it again and then you're done. Like, I don't know what else there is to dig into that one.
Exactly. Yeah.
So this movie has a cast of mostly, to me, unknowns.
Yeah. I don't know anyone.
Olivia DeJonge just played Priscilla Presley in Elvis.
Olivia, the
So
child?
so Becca played Priscilla in
Oh
the
my
new
God.
Elvis movie.
That makes me feel old.
Well, Priscilla was only like 15 or 16 when she
That's
met
very true.
Elvis. So it's
That's
a little,
very
but the other, like, I don't know the brother.
No.
And
He looks
Nana,
like I always get him confused with the guy who plays Beans. What show was that?
I thought even Stevens.
Yes. He kind of has that like Beans. He has a Beans aura.
Oh my God, yes. I wonder what happened to Beans.
I know. I hope he's doing good.
I hope he's doing okay. I wonder if Christy Carlson Romano often invites people from Disney Channel onto her YouTube show. So
Oh my God. I hope she does.
maybe she also cooks, so maybe she's made like baked beans with beans or something.
Beans with beans. If she hasn't yet,
Yeah.
she can have that idea.
We should. And then the Pop I've seen as like a character actor in a lot of things that I can't name a single one of them, but I've definitely seen him in other movies.
Yeah.
And then Kathryn Hahn is a supernova.
Queen. Love her.
Yes. So
I was actually going to bring that up when I was talking about, how I felt about this movie, because I was going to ask you how you feel about it being a found footage movie, because I think it's kind of funny, because I don't know if I've ever talked about it on the podcast, but I think I've told you, I have like a super soft spot in my heart for found footage, and I feel like you don't like it as much. And then in this second rewatch, the found footage, I think, is what ruined it for me on the second watch. Is I was noticing, found footage, I think I have a soft spot because it kind of like, for me, I get very immersed in the movie. Like I kind of forget I'm even watching a movie. This one, I feel like it had the exact opposite effect. It was like really pulling me out. Like I kept, thinking like, why are they filming this? Like, how is the camera so steady? Like, what, you know what I mean? So I think it actually pulled me out of this movie. So I'm really interested to know your opinion on that.
Yeah, I do like them.
Yeah.
I generally enjoy them. There's one from a long time ago called Quarantine.
Yes.
I liked that one.
Sounds good. And because is that the one that was, it was based off of Rec, or was it the other way around?
Yes. Rec came first.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen that one.
Yeah. I think they're almost like shot for shot the same.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that one had the sister from Dexter in it, and I really liked her.
That's right.
Yeah. But yeah, this one, they make it more, because the excuse for this one being a found footage movie is that the 15-year-old daughter wants to be a documentarian.
Yes.
And so that's just kind of their excuse for why this is a found footage movie. And yeah, it's not as rough as some of them can be, which is generally something I enjoy.
Yeah.
Where it does feel more authentic. Yeah, this 15-year-old is a very skilled cinematographer.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's going places.
Yeah, for better or for worse.
Yeah.
And they make there's a lot of meta commentary about movies and shots and stuff like that, which a lot of found footage movies don't have, because it's just like some random ass cameraman or something.
Yes,
so
that's true.
That I don't like as much.
Yeah. I think there's two, because I think my first Letterboxd review, I pointed out how the most horrifying part of this movie is everyone you meet wanted to be an actor at some point, because they meet like at least two separate people who say that they wanted to be actors, and then like follow that up by doing something dramatic. So it's really quite incredible.
Yes, yeah. There's a guy on the train.
Yep, the train.
And yeah, someone else. I enjoy those moments.
It was.
I don't know if I was just really drunk or something watching this, but I found this movie absolutely hysterical, and like purposefully hysterical.
Yes. Like I said, I loved it on the first time. I think maybe it lost that charm for me on the second one. And since the second time I went into it thinking, having the expectation that it was going to be a silly, goofy time. And then like it is, but it's not as much as I want it to be ridiculous. So,
Yeah.
But anyways.
There's always the question within Night Shyamalan is what is on purpose and what is an accident.
Exactly.
And I wonder how much, one thing I like about found footage movies is a lot of them feel improvised.
Mm-hmm.
And that adds to the realism. And I'm wondering if the reason I like this movie so much is because I do not know the behind the scenes, but maybe it was improvised and they're not having to recite his terrible dialogue.
Except for when the kid raps, M. Night Shyamalan wrote those.
Those are really bad.
Those are really bad.
The kid does his best. He's very good, but the raps are bad.
He's adorable.
Yes. So, okay, let's get into the plot.
Yes.
So we open with a shot of Kathryn Hahn. So we're already at a high point with this. And she's talking about how she hasn't seen her own parents in 15 years, which is coincidentally the age of her oldest daughter. Mm-hmm. And the kids want to meet, the parents want to meet their grandchildren and the kids want to meet their grandparents. So they're going to visit them. We get a very funny, yet honestly, there's such a good scene of Kathryn Hahn running after them on the train. And she starts being silly and then she gets sad.
Oh, that's so good. Kathryn Hahn was the best part of this movie. She just, like, in the 5 minutes that she was on screen, she's just so likable, so sweet. Oh, I love her.
Yeah, and she just does a great job of kind of setting this like emotional tone of the movie. So we're on this train ride. We get the white boy rapping. Mm-hmm. That'll be a theme throughout the movie. We won't talk about that. We get these title cards each day. It'll be like Monday.
Yeah.
And we meet their grandparents, Nana and Pop Pop. And this is the house that the kid's mother grew up in. It's the family house. We get a little weirdness off the bat when Pop Pop says there's mold in the basement. Don't go down there.
Yeah. Always bad.
But then Nana bakes and the kids talk to their mom on Skype and everybody's having a good time. The kid goes out to Pop Pop's shed and Pop Pop's in there like, is he standing there? He's chopping something, but he ignores the boy.
Yeah.
And the kid runs and falls over and he decides he's going to say pop star names instead of swearing, which I found really amusing.
I think that's one of the things that it's so cringy that I think the first time I watched it, I was so cringy it was funny. The second time I was like, I can't do it.
He'll hurt himself and go, Shakira. I love it. I think because the kid does such a good job delivering it, even though it's dumb.
That's true. He does.
Yeah. So Nana and Pop Pop tell them the bedtime is at 9:30, but they sneak out to go get cookies at 10:20, and they see Nana projectile vomiting at the foot of the stairs.
So bad.
It's so gross.
It's like
this movie's
buckets.
This movie's very gross for a PG-13 movie.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
So then we're at Tuesday. Tuesday morning. Do you remember there was a chain of stores called Tuesday Morning?
No.
It was like a Big Lots type thrift store.
Really?
And poor Lauren Bacall in her late years would do this commercial for Tuesday Morning. And she was it's like those Grey Poupon commercials. She's in a limo in the back. And they pull up beside someone and the window comes down and it's Lauren Bacall. And she says, "Can you tell me where to find Tuesday Morning?" and then she goes shopping there. And then they show in the backseat of a limo with like a giant teddy bear that I guess she bought for herself. And she's cuddling it. And she says, "Tuesday morning, where you can always find a special treasure." And I used to do that all the time, my terrible Lauren Bacall impersonation. So I'm glad I had an excuse to do it here.
Oh, that's so good.
So it's Tuesday morning in the film, Tuesday morning. And Pop Pop says Nana had stomach flu. Sure.
Of course.
This is when the kids decide to go under the house. And they're filming each other in this crawl space.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Nana comes galloping on all fours.
Yeah, like skittering.
And it's really creepy.
It's so scary.
And she goes, "I'm gonna get you." And then like their kids are terrified.
Oh yeah.
They escape and Nana just comes out, just like dusts herself off and walks away.
Yeah, I think she says like lunch is ready or something.
Yes.
She goes, okay, bye.
Oh my gosh. So they let's see. So they meet a doctor, Dr. Sam, who says that he works at the hospital where the grandparents counsel, but they're out for a walk. So he doesn't actually meet the grandparents.
Yeah.
But he's checking in because they normally volunteer there and they've missed the volunteer shift.
Yes.
So the boy, his name is his name Tyler? I wrote Tyler down. Is that his name? It is. Okay. I can tell.
Tyler. Yeah.
I guess so. He goes to investigate the shed and finds a pile of dirty diapers in there.
Yeah.
Nana says that Pop is embarrassed and hides his accidents in the shed.
Tyler's also, I don't know if you were going to say this, he's a big time germaphobe.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Yes. He's a very layered character.
He likes to rap and wash his hands.
Yes. Those are his 2 favorite things. And girls. 3 favorite things.
Yes. And his misogynistic raps. Like he'll rap about like chicken pot pie, but still just end it by saying ho.
Ho. Yeah. It's really good. It's better than most music these days.
It's true. Yeah.
Kids these days.
So they go for a little drive and they go for a little walk, and Pop thinks this stranger is following them and attacks this man. And then at night they hear all this creaking and scratching noises. And it's because Nana is butt-ass naked and scratching the walls outside the door.
Yep.
So that's Tuesday. That's all on Tuesday.
Big 2 days.
Yeah. So then we get to Wednesday. And so Nana has spilled biscuit batter on the computer and tried to clean it with oven cleaner and broke the camera.
Yeah.
So the kids are talking to their mom, but mom can't see them. And she tries to tell them that maybe they're sundowning. People are scared of old people for no reason. Meanwhile, she's on a cruise ship partying, which just looks really fun.
She's so cute on that cruise ship too, because she said something like, oh, imagine this waitress from, where are they from? Like Illinois or something. I don't know where it takes place, but she's like, little old waitress on the world's largest cruise ship. Like, it's like she's on the top of the Eiffel Tower or something.
Oh,
it's so good. She's so cute.
She's living her best life.
Yep.
So back at Nana's house, Nana wants Becca to get all the way inside the oven to clean it.
Naturally.
She has a very large oven.
Yeah. And Becca fits perfectly. And like, again, I don't want to blame the victim, but like, it's made for you, girl. It's like the perfect size.
Yeah, she crawls right in there.
Yep.
This reminds me, my dad used to clog our garbage disposal when I was a child. And because he would put banana peels down there. And my mom would always say, you can't put a banana peel down the garbage disposal. It's too much. But he did it repeatedly. And then he would make me stick my hand down there and get it.
Your little child hand. It's the only one that can reach. Yeah.
Yes. And so that's what this reminded me of. Like, like him doing that and then flicking the switch or something. So the kids are still so they try to talk to Nana about mom, and Nana freaks out. She's shaking her head and screaming and stuff. So Tyler wants to put out a hidden camera to film Nana while she runs around and crawls around at night. But Becca refuses.
Yeah.
So then we're at Thursday, and Becca talks to Tyler about their father. So we get a little character development about their dad. Not really important.
No.
And Tyler thinks that there's something in the basement because Pop Pop didn't want them going down there.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, one of their former patients comes. Here's Stacy, fresh off Broadway, with a blueberry cobbler. She doesn't have a lot to do, but she's very charming and awkward in this role.
Yeah.
So she's worried because they didn't visit for their volunteer therapy shift.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the house, Nana's sitting in the rocker. She's facing the wall and laughing and tying a scarf around her own face. And
trying to suffocate herself. It's a whole good time.
Yeah, it gets really dark. Pop Pop, they see him with his gun in his mouth, and he says he was just cleaning it. Things have taken a dark turn.
Yeah.
So they just, what?
I said spit shine.
Yes. So they decide to put the hidden camera out anyway, and they see Nana opening and shutting the door a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is a jump scare. I think I screamed when Nana pops up from under the camera and grabs it.
But she makes like a weird monster noise too. Like, and I think that was another part on the rewatch where I was like, why? Because it literally, it sounds like they added in like a monster noise. It's not
just like screeching.
Yeah.
Maybe, she had that scarf around her face. She might have done some damage or something.
That's true.
Yeah. So the next day, it's Friday, they witness Stacy having an argument. Like they see her from the window and she seems to be arguing with Nana and Pop Pop, but you can't hear what's happening. Becca decides to interview Nana later that day. And Nana tells this story about creatures from another planet who live in a pond and their spit makes you sleep but not die. And they're storing people to take them to Sin Morphitalia.
Ooh.
So sounds like a M. Night Shyamalan script that he could have filmed.
That's a spinoff of this.
Yeah.
It didn't happen.
So she ends up asking about what Mom did the day she left, and Nana starts hitting herself. Things are getting really out of control.
Mm-hmm.
So they Skype with Mom and beg her to come get them. And did they show her a picture? They find a way to show them to her.
Well, they just fix the camera. Like,
okay.
I think Tyler just goes, here, I cleaned it and it's fine now. And then they pick up the camera and they turn it to look out the window where they're standing in the yard.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And that's when we get the big reveal where Mom says, those aren't your grandparents.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. So now we have to go into the rest of the movie knowing that these aren't their grandparents. They're going to try to pretend that it's their grandparents.
Yep.
And Pop Pop says, we should play a board game. And they play Yahtzee. And Pop Pop and Nana get in this argument about Yahtzee that I found really funny.
I mean, it's very realistic. I mean, if you haven't fought with your family over a board game, especially Yahtzee, I mean, that's just a shared experience, I feel like. So he nailed it.
Yes, yeah. Pop Pop's like, I'm a Yahtzee master. And she's like, well, if you were a Yahtzee master, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, the kids are just like,
yeah.
These are not our grandparents.
Yeah.
So Becca goes into the basement and she not only finds psychiatric hospital gowns in the trash, she also finds the real Nana and Pop Pop's dead bodies.
Yeah.
Whoops. Rewatching this, I couldn't remember how dark they went. I was like, are we going to find them tied up down there or dead? And whoop, it's dead.
Oh, they did.
So Pop Pop shows up in the basement and grabs her and locks her in a room. And Nana's in the room. In there, she's like rocking and moaning, and Becca hides under the bed and Nana's crawling around. That's really creepy.
Yeah.
And then Pop Pop, the grossest part of the movie, he says to Tyler, you've got a problem with germs, don't you? And then hits him in the face with one of the dirty diapers.
rubs it in his face. He really gets it in there.
It's so gross.
It's nasty.
It's so gross. Back in the bedroom, Nana like slams Becca's face against a mirror and breaks the mirror. Becca manages to stab her and get out. Poor Tyler has shit all over his face. But they manage to knock Pop down and smash his head in the refrigerator door. They run out into the rain. Kathryn Hahn shows up.
Yeah.
And we get this surprisingly layered conversation with Kathryn Hahn admitting that she hit her mom and her dad hit her, and that's why they never talked again. And she tells Becca to not hold on to anger. And then we get a wrap, and then it's over.
Then it's done.
It's a real roller coaster at the end.
It is. It is.
One thing about this movie, and most M. Night Shyamalan movies, he's in it. He has a cameo.
Oh.
And I didn't spot him in this one.
No, I don't think he is, unless he's like randomly on the train or something, because there's really not a lot of places for him to show up.
No, there's only, like maybe 8 characters.
Yeah. He should have been the character who the grandfather beat the shit out of.
Yes, that would have been very good.
That would have been a really good cameo. I would have fully supported that M. Night Shyamalan cameo. Maybe he wanted to do it and he just like couldn't come in for filming that day or something.
I don't know. I feel like he was too full of himself to do that.
That's true. That's true.
So anything you wanted to add to our plot summary?
The only thing I kind of wanted to add, because I think this is, again, one thing that really annoyed me on second rewatch, is they shoe in these sort of like weird issues that the two kids have. The daughter won't look in the mirror since the father left. So then it's like very poignant that she's looking in the mirror and that's what she uses to stab the, quote unquote, Nana. And then the son, I think, is the weirdest one because he has this weird backstory where he thinks his father hates him because he didn't make a touchdown. And then so when he, knocks out Pop, he's like screaming at him like, first down, touchdown, like, yeah. And so I think it was just, and that was one of those parts where I was like, I know that it's ridiculous, but this is definitely M. Night Shyamalan being ridiculous, and it's not self-aware, and it wasn't like satisfying to me, you know what I mean? Because those two things were so shoehorned in there that I like couldn't help but like groan because I don't think I really realized it all that much on the first watch because like I was just having a good time, and then the second watch I was like, ugh, of course.
I must have zoned out during those parts because I didn't even put them in the plot summary.
Yeah. I think it was one of their interviews that they had about their father, Oh, because Tyler is filming her, the sister, and he keeps like zooming in on her and is like, why won't you look in the mirror? And it's just like, okay, first of all, no man has ever been that aware of what a woman is doing.
Especially when he's 12, yeah.
Exactly. There's no way. Like my brother is older, but there is no way he would ever notice that. Like, it's so that really took me out of the movie.
That's an interesting point. Yeah, sometimes it feels like M. Night Shyamalan is following a template or a how to write a screenplay book. And it's told him that his characters need to have some sort of emotional plot arc.
Yes.
So he just puts that in.
And it has to be like resolved in a very literal way.
Right. And especially for a movie of this type, you do not need that. It does not need to be sentimental.
It would have been just as satisfying if they had still just like kicked the shit out of those old people. So.
Yes, that's inherently satisfying. These old people killed their real grandparents.
Yeah, exactly. It would have been so that really, really annoyed me on second watch.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's very fair. That's the I feel like the real M. Night Shyamalan coming out.
Yes, exactly.
A lot of this movie I feel like is good on accident.
Exactly. And it's like funny and kitschy on accident. And then when you actually get those glimpses of, oh, right, like it's pretentious, it's like, ugh, there he is. That's what everyone was groaning at in your movie theater.
Yes. Yeah, it ends up being like treacly and sincere.
Yeah. So
and I just want to be,
add.
That's very fair.
Yeah.
So let's take a short break and we will return with our Gothic roundup and decide, is it Gothic? All right, we ghosties, we're back with our Gothic roundup. So every Gothic film has 4 elements: a girl, a guy, a haunt, and a house. So our girl, there's 2 of them. There's Becca and Tyler.
Yeah.
2 for the price of 1.
Yep.
As we've talked about, a girl doesn't necessarily need to be female. They fit into their Gothic trope. They think they're going on a nice trip to grandma's house and they end up trapped there in a situation beyond their control.
Yes.
So most Gothic films also have a guy, typically a romantic interest. This one doesn't really have that.
No. I mean, like, I guess you could almost say that Kathryn Hahn kind of is, because if you think of her as being sort of, it's kind of a cool thing to think about, because instead of the guy luring them to the house, it's the fact that they're going to the house because she doesn't really want them to. It's like her motivation is the guy and her new relationship, because she's with a guy.
That's true. I really like that, because sometimes the guy isn't necessarily nefarious in a Gothic movie. He's just not maybe at the level of emotional intelligence where he may need to be. And perhaps if Kathryn Hahn hadn't not talked to her parents for 15 years, this never would have happened.
Because I like to think of the guy as sort of the motivation. And, I see their motivation as wanting to make their mom happy.
Yeah.
So Kathryn Hahn could be the guy.
Kathryn Hahn's the guy. I love it.
Yeah, let's go for it. I just want to talk about Kathryn Hahn as much as I can. So I'll put her in anything, any role.
We've probably talked about her more than she's actually in the movie.
Oh, yeah, definitely. She's very, very minor, but she's so, well, actually, I mean, I think very, very minor is probably not giving her enough credit, but she could have been in it for, the whole movie should have just been filming her on the cruise ship, honestly. That would be a really funny movie, is her perspective, and then seeing the video chat with the kids. Like
the kids.
On her side.
I want that movie as a side movie.
That sounds really like, because I think her new boyfriend doesn't have any, I don't know if he says anything. I think
so.
At one point maybe he says something about a swimsuit, like he's in the background. But yeah, I'd love to build up that character a little bit. Let's go. They
should have had like a companion web series, to tease this movie.
That would have been so cute. And it could be marketed as an ad for a cruise ship. But
yes.
That'd be really cute.
I love this.
Yeah. Anyways, Kathryn Hahn, the guy.
We need to be on M. Night Shyamalan's marketing team.
Honestly, that sounds like a dream.
For all his reputation for having these clever twists, there hasn't really been a viral campaign around one of his movies.
You're right. Yeah, he needs to get on that.
Maybe it would distract from the fact that people don't really like him that much.
Exactly. Yeah. So give us a call.
Fresh. Give us a call. We'd be happy to brainstorm.
Sounds amazing.
His next movie is based on the book, The Cabin at the End of the World.
Oh, by Paul Tremblay?
Yes.
Oh, he was a visitor to the Merrimack Valley Halloween Book Festival.
Yes, he's a Boston boy, I think.
Yeah.
Massachusetts resident.
I have not read that, but I think I actually just put a hold on it on Libby. Plug in Libby. Yeah.
Plug Libby. Libby,
Yeah.
get your audiobooks, ebooks digitally and support your library.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. The movie has a different title, and people
Oh.
were suspecting it was this book, and they were kind of trying to keep it a secret. And then it
Okay.
is this book. So
I'm interested. You know, we don't have to get into it too much, but I'm very interested to see what he would do with that. And I feel like we could definitely whip up some good marketing for that. Please give us a call.
Yeah. He seems to be, I wonder if this means he's going to enter his adaptation phase, because Old was a graphic novel. And,
That's right.
And now he's doing another book. So maybe having him step away from the idea board is a good thing. So we normally do haunt then house, but for the sake of interest, house, it's there. There's not really much to say about the house.
Yep. Big oven, moldy basement.
They do have that big oven. It's quite large for, I don't know what the parents were supposed to have done. And Kathryn Hahn seems to be an only child. So it seems to be a pretty big house for that type of family. But
yeah, there is some, there's some like emotional weight put in this grandfather clock that's like in the hallway, because Kathryn Hahn is like, oh, I used to sneak out or something like that. Like I'd hear it ding and I'd sneak out, and then I don't know if she mentions that story before or after, but when they first walk into the house, you know, the girl is like, look it's the clock mom's always talking about. If my mom told me a story about a clock, I would not remember that.
I didn't even remember it from the movie. I clearly blocked out all of the emotional stuff. And I just watched the spooks and the rapping.
Yeah, you were like, poopy diaper.
Poopy diaper. Yeah, and then the kid falls over and goes, Katy Perry.
And that's it for you.
That was it. That's all I need from a movie. It is short. It's a short movie, which I'm grateful for.
Yeah, absolutely.
It does not overstay its welcome.
Yeah, I do really, really enjoy it. Like, I think it's perfectly concise.
It's well paced.
Yes, yes.
Even I think these emotional bits I was able to ignore because they were very brief.
Yes, yeah, at least they didn't linger on it for even the part that I was talking about that I really didn't like. I mean, like you said, you ignored it because it was such a brief scene. It was a good like, you know, peanut M&M break kind of.
That's probably what I was doing. I was like, oh, I'll snack now.
I'll just snack right now. Yeah, just some children talking.
Yes, I don't need to hear them talk about their parents.
Exactly. But yeah, house, meh.
Oh, it's poor. I forgot to mention poor Stacy.
Yes.
I don't know if she drove there or what. It almost feels like she walked there because we never see her car. And we very briefly get a glimpse of her hanging from a tree in the mad climax of the movie.
Yes, they killed her. Womp
yeah,
womp.
they killed her. And I mean, no one seems to notice this woman hanging from a tree in their yard. So they've managed. Yeah.
So,
of course, the grandparents are crazy. So our haunt is mental illness / dementia.
Mental illness.
So, and just because like they say in the movie that people are scared of old people for no reason, doesn't mean the movie is not also just using that.
Yeah, exactly. Like
that's the whole thing.
There was no reason to have the old woman naked. That was shock value.
Mm-hmm.
The whole like trying, because so you know, I'm not going to try to pretend that like I'm a doctor or anything, but then, but so I guess it probably wasn't dementia, or maybe it was partly dementia, but because they came from the insane asylum? Question mark. I don't know if they even really ever said.
Right.
And then so are they just trying to equate dementia with just being insane? Do they actually have dementia?
Is this what happens when insane people get dementia?
Yeah, just like double trouble.
Double dementia.
Double dementia. Dementia squared. I thought it would cancel each other out. They would just become normal.
Right.
They just, no issues.
Yeah, they just become calm.
Yeah. Oh, because the whole weird story about the aliens in the water, it's actually that the woman, because that's the other thing that I don't think they explained, or maybe they did and I didn't pick up. I don't think the two of them were like, together or like, romantically, or maybe they were and they fell in love in the insane asylum, because it seemed like she had a life, because he's the Pop. I'm sorry, I'm butchering this, but Pop is the one who gives us the background on Nana, which is that she killed her children. She like drowned them. And that's what the whole story was about. Did you miss this too?
I missed that part.
Yeah, so the whole story of the aliens or whatever it is under the water, it's because she killed her two children. And now, and because he says something along the lines of talking about, it's because when he's in the basement, because he finds the girl has just found her grandparents' bodies.
Right.
And so he's saying that it was unfair of them to come in to work and talk about how excited they were to meet their two grandchildren when they knew that she had killed her two kids.
Okay.
And she wanted, so that's their whole motivation. That's, why they killed them, because and I remember when the first time I watched this, I remember thinking how stupid it was that it just so happened these two old people killed two old people and took their place
Right.
because their grandchildren were showing up, but it is, cause and effect. So anyways, long story short, they're crazy.
Right. We go from one tasteless topic to another.
Yes,
it's like
exactly.
the beginning of the movie they're scary because they have dementia. And then the end of the movie is they're scary because they're crazy.
Yeah, they have mental illness.
There's this cartoonish view of both.
Yeah. Yeah.
And since if the movie wasn't so sentimental and serious at other parts, it might be more fun.
Yes.
So, but instead it's this M. Night Shyamalan mix of good and bad.
Yep.
So these elements do relate to American Gothic. October is our American Gothic month.
Ooh.
And elements of American Gothic include the rational versus the irrational, guilt, the uncanny, and monsters.
Ooh.
So obviously the old people are viewed as monsters, but there's this uncanny because they're close enough to be their grandparents.
Yes.
But not quite.
Right. I also thought it was kind of weird that, like, I guess you could blame it on them, being crazy, but like they didn't even try to keep it together when the kids were there. Like,
I know
they took a crash course on how to be creepy, and we're like, yeah, what do we, so but yeah, they're definitely the quote monsters.
They're the monsters. And then everybody else, as you've mentioned, because I was sleepwalking through these parts of the movie, feels guilty for something.
Yeah.
All the other characters do. So they're working through their guilt. And then the rational versus the irrational, I find very interesting. In our last episode, we have, which was Sleepy Hollow. Yeah. Johnny Depp is the rational detective, but everything happening in the story turned out to be very irrational.
Yeah.
And rationality actually is kind of like a character flaw for him.
Yes.
And this one's kind of similar, where it's like we're trying to get the kids to be rational and be like, your grandparents, they're just going through it. They're sundowning. Just try to be respectful. But actually, they're psychotics who have murdered your grandparents. So again, this rational behavior is a character flaw.
Yes. Yeah. Rationalizing it is hurting them.
Yes. And I find that an interesting aspect of these movies.
Mm-hmm.
But anything else you wanted to add about our Gothic recap before we decide? Is it Gothic?
I mean, we barely, though, touched on the rapping, which...
Please tell me more.
I mean, this is probably I wish I had had the foresight to really analyze the raps and see if there was any Gothic themes in them or something. He does rap a lot about love and loss and
okay.
So maybe there's something there. But definitely the most rapping in any of the movies we've watched so far, I think. So
I don't think we'll see more raps
which is
in
really
any
unfortunate.
movies.
You know, they should have
It's
children rapping.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how it's presented.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all I have to say on the.
Well, maybe that makes it more gothic in the American Gothic theme. So we're gonna decide: is it gothic? Oh,
I was just gonna say, rapping is, a very American thing. So
that's true. Very true. So we're gonna decide: is it gothic, gothish, or no gothic? So what do you think?
I want you to answer first because I don't know.
Okay, the more we've talked about it, and even keeping the American Gothic in mind, I'm inclined to say no Gothic.
Yeah, I agree. I think the house hurts it, and I think the tone hurts it quite a bit. And that's something that we don't talk about a whole lot, but like there's just like this overall tone of it where it is, it has the funny moments, it's a little over the top, it's a little dramatic, but it's not dramatic and like it's dramatic in like a way, whereas I think of dramatic for like Gothic movies as being dramatic and like a if that makes any sense.
No, it's true. There's a pain to the drama in a Gothic movie, and here it all feels very superficial.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
And you're right, even the house, we don't get any establishing shots really.
Yeah. The only time we do, and you probably blocked this out, is when they first show up, there's like a tire swing. And
Nope.
What were you doing? It's just like if it wasn't old people being crazy.
That was it. That's what I came for.
Yeah, there's like that one shot of like they're, they pull up and she says again, like, Mom told us about this tire swing. And the only thing that's kind of funny about it is she tells him to like stand casually next to it, like Tyler to stand casually, and of course he can't do that because
that's right,
he is who he is. So
I remember that part now.
But the house definitely does not have its own feeling, its own thing.
There's often a sense of discovery and suspense in a Gothic house, and this one, the crawl space, is used for that one scene. And the basement, it's like he says don't go in the basement. And then they never think about the basement. And then they go in the basement. So there's no tension there.
And the house is like very standard, like you're never surprised by anything in the house. It's not a great Gothic house.
Maybe if Nana and Pop Pop had put up some artwork that they had done in their padded cells,
that would have been so much fun.
Weird shit. Maybe literally, maybe it's actually just smeared with shit.
They're like,
and did some art that would have added to the Gothic atmosphere.
Absolutely, it would have.
So this is it. This is our first no Gothic.
I was just going to ask, is this the first one? Yeah,
it's our first no Gothic. The more we talked about it, the less I've enjoyed it. I think don't be sorry. Even while watching it, I think I just did a really good job this time of turning my brain off.
Yes.
Intellectually, this movie is not successful.
No.
But as a thrill ride for me and pure just like adrenaline rush, both the comedy and the spooks, I appreciated it.
I mean, I still would tell people to watch it. Like the first time you watch it is so much fun. And the first time I watched it, I went in knowing pretty much the whole story. Like I had, read about it. It had, become very memed, I feel like. So the first time I watched it, I had everything spoiled for me. Like I knew, the twist, whatever. And it was still so much fun the first time. So I would still highly recommend watching it.
I think so too. I think even though my other M. Night Shyamalan favorite is The Village.
Mhm.
People, and I won't spoil the twist for that in case people aren't aware, but
Yes.
people have a really hard time with the twist to that movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it's I thought it was kind of interesting when I was a teenager.
I think it's fun. Yeah.
But this one is more readily accessible.
Yes. This one feels, even though it's a twist, it feels more like a standard horror movie. Like I could see anyone coming up with this, twist.
Right.
So, I think it's a fun time still. And I would still say go watch it.
It's a fun movie. Go watch it, even though it's not Gothic. That's totally fine.
Yeah. I wonder if Tyler's raps are on the soundtrack.
Oh my God. Like you get a soundtrack that's just like a score, but then they add in a rap between different sections of like orchestrated music.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I
would
don't
love
see the Visit soundtrack on Spotify, so we might have to update you in another episode, because they should definitely put that out there, because it would skyrocket #1 on the charts.
Well, that does it. Thank you for listening to us break down The Visit. Please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Drop us an email, sogothicpod@gmail.com. Let us know what you think about The Visit, or give us suggestions for future films. And follow us on Instagram at So Gothic Pod to see what we're going to talk about next. We've got another spooky favorite for our special Halloween episode. So join us then. All right, boo-bye.
Bye.
I may be 13, may not live in the hood, may not carry no chrome, may not be allowed a cell phone at dinner, but I'm young and can do 18 push-ups, and I speak the truth. My sister tried to make a film about old people feeling dismay, but it didn't turn out that way. She hit the screen, and Keelan got vomited in her face, chunks in her hair from a stew, but she washed them out with Herbal Essence Body Envy shampoo. So here's a few things T-Diamond learned from visiting elders. Adult diapers come in many a name. There's the Tens, it depends, a Medline and Prevail, but they all the same. They keep your mess spilling out, and they keep it contained. So here's the truth. I got messed up with a killer who's truly insane. I will try not to refrain, try to overcome my pain, cause one day it will get me my fame. Like 50 Cent getting shot and being lame, you see. I got a diaper shoved in my face for half an hour. I thought it was over. I thought I'd be under the ground growing fall leaf clover. Some dude doing over me with a mower. But that's not what happened, you see, cause all went all mental. I was like Mel Gibson at the end of a Lethal Weapon rental. I'm straight now, I'm not gonna lie. For 3 weeks that diaper left me like a basket case. I had to use 2 hold-off bars on my face. And one last thing, and I don't mean to say again, but the truth is, shit doesn't taste like chicken. Oh, Shania Twain, bitches!